Superbike's 6th race in 3 months here in Phillip Island gets underway. Run down towards turn number 1, the head-to-head between the two Ducatis, Bautista and Rinaldi. But they hold station. Andrea Locatelli with a good jump gets around the outside of Toprak Razgatlioglu. Jonathan Rea is already up into 5th position from 7th on the grid. And Axel Bassani with a good start too. He's through for 6th position. Lecuona, Ertl and Lowe's behind, with Petrucci rounding out your top 10. It's Bautista versus Rinaldi. It's then the two official Yamaha men of Andrea Locatelli and Toprak Razgatlioglu. This rather respecting the balance of power among the manufacturers, but Bautista's having to go to the inside into Miller Corner. He knows that Rinaldi is right with him. Jonathan Rea very much bundled out of the way. Axel Bassani coming through like a steam train as ever on the opening lap.
Yeah, Bassani came through for 5th, and that bundled Jonathan out of the way. It opened the door for Lecuona, who made a good start as well.
Lecuona a little bit wobbly there though as they come through turn 8, and Jonathan Rea capitalises offline slightly, but he'll now have the inside through turn 9, and Jonathan Rea defending that position against Lecuona. It's bringing Alex Lowe's into what's turning into a 3-rider fight now, with the Honda sandwich of Lecuona, and Lowe's going all the way around the outside at the bottom of Lukey Heights. It'll give him the inside for turn 11. Great scrapping here for 7th and 8th places, with Alex Lowe's coming through. Bassani versus Razgatlioglu. Axel Bassani is through for 4th position into turn 1 at the start of lap number 2. So the Ducatis working their way through quite nicely in the hands of Axel Bassani. Razgatlioglu then pushed down to 5th position. His chances of making it 3 podiums out of 3 looking remote at this stage. And Jonathan Rea has also leapfrogged Razgatlioglu. Alex Lowe's next to have a go at the number 54.
Yeah, certainly as the track temperatures comes up, the Ducati does come into its own. Bassani able to make really good progress on the opening lap from 9th and now all the way up into P4. He's going to feel there's a chance of a podium today. It looks like it's more problems for Tom Sykes as well. We've seen him retire from both races so far this weekend in the early stages. Looks like the same again.
Riding on board with Toprak Razgatlioglu down the Gardner Straight and in towards turn 1, and he's watching Jonathan Rea close up here on Axel Bassani. He takes the long route around turn 1 to catch Bassani by surprise into the southern loop. That is classic Jonathan Rea, a move that he obviously lined up knowingly, and it does catch Bassani unawares, and Bassani's relegated down to 5th place. Will want to immediately answer back. Bassani thinks about it, but he's then caught in the mid-track and offline, and Toprak finds his way through as well. So opportunistic from Toprak, wants to follow Rea. Bassani loses 2 positions in a matter of 2 or 3 turns. Here comes Alex Lowe's through on Axel Bassani. The problem is the natural racing line into Miller Corner is to leave the door wide open, and as soon as that door was opened, Alex Lowe's was straight through and gets it stopped nicely for to come past for 6th position. So Bassani tumbling backwards has been the main story of the last couple of laps. He was in 4th position, he's now in 7th. Dominic Egerter gets well out of shape coming down the hill from Lukey Heights, and just about manages to get it stopped in the path of Danilo Petrucci. Petrucci then recovers into the path of Phillip Ertl to hold on for 10th place.
At the back of that group, keep an eye on Michael van der Mark as well. He's kept his powder dry at this stage, but he wants to try and make some moves.
Doesn't surprise me to see the Ducatis getting back alongside Dominic Egerter in towards turn 1. Oh, Egerter well out of shape and almost goes right up the back of Phillip Ertl. He'll go to the back of that 4-rider group. Petrucci and Ertl had capitalised on the straight line speed to get alongside him down the Gardner Straight, and Dominic Egerter out of track position, runs out of room and ends up down at the back of the group in P12. This group for 4th position beginning to splinter. Bassani and Lecuona dropping slightly away. Here comes Alex Lowe's on Toprak Razgatlioglu. We ride on board with Toprak as Lowe's comes through on the inside into Doohan Corner. So it is now Ducati 1 and 2 through Alvaro Bautista and Michael Ruben Rinaldi. It's Andrea Locatelli in 3rd. It's Jonathan Rea and Alex Lowe's. And Lowe's team enjoying that. A fine pass on Razgatlioglu. That unfortunately is Tom Sykes, and it's going to be another non-score for him. He'd only not long, just a few minutes since exiting pit lane. He then loses the bike, and sheer frustration for Tom Sykes this weekend. This is not what he was expecting from his return to WorldSBK. Here goes Alex Lowes. He passed Toprak Razgatlioglu into turn 1 a lap ago. They're almost 4 abreast at the start of lap 9 in an outstanding tussle for P4. And Lowes versus Jonathan Ray, the two KRT teammates. The undoubted number 1 of that team is Jonathan Ray as the former world champion, but Alex Lowes is putting him through his paces.
Yeah, 6 times champion Jonathan Ray. He's not used to battling it out for 4th position, but he's giving it everything he has to hold on to that position as well. This is on board with Toprak Razgatlioglu. He's very strong through Stoner Corner. This is going to set up a move into 4.
Yes, it looked as though Alex Lowes was a little bit sluggish coming off turn 3. He's had to go defensive now into turn 4. He does so. Bassani hits the back of Lekuona. Lekuona having just made that pass, and Bassani's going to lose another position now to Phillip Island. Here goes Toprak down the inside, late on the brakes into turn 4. Lowes has made the move on Ray. Bassani again is going to make contact with Lekuona. I think they almost hit twice there coming off turn 4, and Ertl has capitalised to pass the pair of them. Action right the way through the field in WorldSBK as ever. 4th position down to 9th. Excellent entertainment on lap 10. Toprak Razgatlioglu switches to the inside line, and Toprak's now pushed down to 7th position. This is really bad news for Toprak. A weekend where we knew it was going to be about damage limitation. He's got a lot of damage to limit here.
Ertl's got the tyre underneath him as well. He hasn't had to fight with all these riders all the way through. We know the Ducati can manage its tyre a little bit better than some of the other bikes around them. That's why he's so strong right now and giving himself the opportunity to make these moves.
This is where the action has been throughout. Here goes Razgatlioglu on Ray at the start of lap 12, but he's overcooked it. Ray will come through. Now Lowes will come through, and Bassani as well. So if you get it wrong, you can lose 2 or 3 positions in a train like this one. This is the race. It's Alex Lowes and Jonathan Ray tussling over 4th position. It's Toprak Razgatlioglu trying to close down the KRT men once again. It's Axel Bassani right with them. It's Phillip Island. It's Iker Lekuona. It's Danilo Petrucci. It's Dominic Egerter. No, that's not your rider presentation video. That's the current group in the battle for 4th place. Riding on board with Razgatlioglu, and watch Bassani fly around the outside of him. And that is the challenge that Razgatlioglu is facing. See if Toprak can come back here at Axel Bassani. Bassani will go defensive, and that just ensures that he consolidates the place. Feels like we're almost at the end of a race with positions to be settled, but there's plenty more opportunities for these guys to throw their bikes at one another. What they don't look like being opportunities for is changing those top 3 positions. Bautista, Rinaldi, Locatelli, the gap's at least 2.5 seconds between each of them as Egerter pulls his trademark move at the bottom of Lukey Heights. Bassani, I think, might be close enough to make a move here on Jonathan Ray. He was a little bit squirrely coming off that final turn, desperate to get the power down. He knows he needs to be in front of Ray going into turn 1 because Ray's got so much speed on the outside. Bassani tries to pin him up against the curb. That was really aggressive from Axel Bassani. He moves Jonathan Ray out of the way. He knew that each time he tried to make that pass on Jonathan Ray, that he'd come back around the outside. This time, Bassani made sure there was no room for him to do so.
So slow mid-corner for Bassani, but he's got the track position there through the southern loop, but we'll see if Jonathan's able to get close enough in the next half lap to try and attack back.
Ertl on Razgatlioglu for 7th position. Opportunity for him to come past. They come into Miller Corner again on lap 17. But Lowes goes down and he's collected Toprak Razgatlioglu, and the pair are out. Razgatlioglu furious. A wasted opportunity for him. Lowes with a 2nd incident of the weekend. Disaster for Alex Lowes into Miller Corner on lap 17.
Yeah, unfortunately in that big group we've been able to see so many near misses for them, and just here in the closing stages, when the tyre starts to drop, it gets harder and harder. It's almost inevitable when everyone's chopping and changing position so much. But for Toprak, big disappointment for him. Keep an eye on the green Kawasaki, trying to get down the inside. Lowes just asked a bit too much at the front end there. Alex
Lowes generally preferring that wider entry to turn 4 on that particular lap. He defends against Razgatlioglu. Ertl again has the legs down the start-finish straight on Jonathan Rea. He moves up just far enough to block out Rea as well, like Axel Bassani did, albeit not as dramatically. Axel Bassani then the man who sits in 4th, Phillip Island in 5th. Look at the volume of Ducatis now in those top 5 positions. Does look like a matter of time now before Lecuona is through. Rea has dropped well back from Bassani and Ertl. There might be a little battle between the two Ducatis actually for 4th position, but first we've got this race for 6th place. Jonathan Rea on the 65 versus Lecuona on the 7, and it is Lecuona candy from the baby really there as Jonathan Rea is pushed down into P7. Rea will try to carry his momentum through the southern loop, but Lecuona's got that position seized quite nicely. P6 for Ilkka Lecuona. Egerter might think that if he can get close, the final sector, he'll definitely give it a go.
Yeah, down in towards turn 10, the MG corner, that's where Domini's going to try and get close enough to make the move on Jonathan Rea. Sorry, really, for Phillip Island as well, but maybe just that little bit too far back from Bassani.
2 positions to be determined then in the closing stages. Axel Bassani versus Phillip Island for 4th position, and Jonathan Rea versus Dominic Egerter also set to be determined further back. Egerter's now only 0.2 of a second down on Jonathan Rea in that race for 7th place, so Rea could yet lose another point. He did it in Aragon 2019. He did it in Buriram 2019. He did it here in Phillip Island in 2019. And he's going to do it again at Phillip Island in 2023. It's a hat-trick for Alvaro Bautista. And he is officially the greatest ever in the Superbike World Championship around this venue. Alvaro Bautista takes it. Michael Ruben Rinaldi makes it a Ducati 1-2. Andrea Locatelli will be delighted to have pulled clear of the group behind him to take a place on the podium.